Hello everyone. This week we're going to talk about cover letters. All right, so let's discuss. Firstly, what is a cover letter? This is something that usually accompanies your resume, or if you've applied to something that you need a curriculum vitae for, this is something that kind of goes along with it. So in short, it is a letter of intent. Sometimes it's called an application letter. If you're applying to graduate school, it may be called a personal statement. In that case, it's more in the form of an essay rather than a letter, but overall, the point of it is the same. So a cover letter, we can think about that as being a letter of intent. What are you doing? Why are you submitting your resume? It should be, in general, no more than one page. So you want to be brief, yet detailed, which can be difficult. But keep in mind that a lot of times when somebody is hiring, or if it's a committee of people reviewing applications, whether it's for a job or for graduate school, they're not going to spend very much time on your materials. There's so many people that are going to be applying for that spot. You're only going to have them for a very brief period of time. So you want to be brief yet effective. No more than one page, unless they specify otherwise. If they express that they want you to write more, then do so. Or for certain particular positions. So for example, if you are applying for a position in academics, like a professor position, it is usually acceptable to have a cover letter that's a little bit longer. Really, it's very dependent upon the position, but in general, especially for entry-level positions, a lot of companies, a lot of businesses, no more than one page. You should obviously have your contact information on it. This includes your permanent email address, your name, of course, etc. You should also greet them. In particular, if you can, if you're looking at a job ad or if it's a graduate program you want to apply to, a lot of times they'll tell you a specific person that will be reviewing those applications or where you should direct your application to. If that happens and you see that, address that person specifically. If not, you could even say, dear members of the hiring committee, if you don't know names in particular, but in general, try to greet them further than just saying hi. So make it feel a bit more personalized. You should also sign off in a positive way. Thank you for your time is always a winner, but make sure that you do that. You thank them, that's always a positive, and sign your name. Make it clear that whatever it is that you're applying to, you want that position and you want that job. So many times we see applicants that just are afraid to tell them that they want a job, but they want this job, they want to work at this place, they want this position, or they want this opportunity. It almost feels like it's inappropriate maybe to do that, but it isn't. They want to see your excitement. They want to work with somebody who wants to work with them. It's never a bad thing, whether it's in the cover letter or when you actually interview for a job, to make it clear that you want to be there, you want that job. And this can be difficult, but I promise it pays off. Every cover letter you submit should be tailored for that specific job or opportunity that you're applying to. No more generic cover letters that could be put into 30 or 40 different places. They need to be tailored. Specifically, you want to look at the job ad. What are they asking the applicant to be able to do? And then focus on those aspects and how you demonstrate those things in your cover letter. This shows them that you paid attention to the ad and that you actually are interested in working there. Now, questions that you need to address in your cover letter, I've kind of already touched on this, but let's get a bit more specific. So what job in particular do you want? What job are you applying to? You want to put the job title from the ad in your cover letter in the very beginning of the cover letter, so they're clear what job that you are applying to. And where do you want to work? What institution are you applying to? For example, if I was applying for my position at AUM, I would say, I'm applying for the assistant professor position at Auburn University Montgomery. I would be that specific. And further, I would even tell them where I found the job ad. This tells them if their marketing for their jobs is actually working. They want to know, where are you seeing their job ad? That way they know where to allocate the money for marketing for jobs in the future. So if you can be that specific, you should be. Why do you want this job? Not just a job. Why do you want this job? What is special about this job? In particular, what is special about working at this place? What you want to do is look into the place. You want to see, what do they value? You can see that by their website. Sometimes they'll talk about charities they donate to or causes that are important to them. Everyone has a mission statement, whether it's a university, a private sector business, anything really you'd work for at this point is going to have some sort of mission statement. Check it out and know theirs, and find something that they are really interested in or really supportive of that you align with, and talk about that in your cover letter. This shows them that not only do you want this job, but you want to work with them because you understand something about them. Then you want to talk about what experiences you have that make you qualified. This is an obvious one, but really, again, go back to the job ad. What are they asking for, and what experiences do you have that speak to the qualities that they're interested in? What do you bring to the table? So if you were to get this job, what would you do with it? What would you be interested in doing? What could you bring to their environment? And this goes way beyond saying, oh, I'm just a very happy person and I'm cheerful to work with. Come on now. They need to hear more specific things that are factual and tangible. Anyone can say anything. I could say that I'm a happy person and all of this, but I can't really demonstrate that. That's something that they're going to have to experience knowing me. So those type of statements really aren't very helpful. What you want to focus on is actionable things. What would you do? What would you be interested in? What kind of committee would you want to be on? What kind of initiative would you want to undertake? Things like that are a bit more actionable and measurable, rather than traits that they really won't really know about you until you work there for a while, and things that you really can't readily prove in your letter. Now, just to wrap up here, I wanted to show you all a few examples. I'm going to put these in the content folder for cover letters so you can see these, but I wanted to put them in here as well and kind of show you and kind of talk you through why this first example here would be what I would consider to be a fairly solid or a good cover letter, and then I'm going to show you two that need help. So let's take a look. Given what we've talked about, this looks good. At the top here, we have contact information in full. They address somebody specifically, so Dear Miss Doe, rather than to whom it may concern. And then right immediately, I was excited. So they're expressing interest and excitement. They want this job. And then they list out the name of the position and where it would be. So senior digital marketing position at Westward Strategies on Indeed.com. So again, all the things, where they're going to work, the job they want, and where they saw the ad, all of the things. And then in particular, in the second paragraph, this applicant mentions your job listing mentions. So they go through some of the things that the job ad specifically said that they wanted an applicant to have. And they speak to those things and demonstrate that they're very, very capable of covering all of those things that they want the person who gets this job to cover. And notice at the bottom of the second paragraph of the body of this, you'll notice the statement, by an impressive 13% over the course of 6 months. If you can do this, this is a really good thing. So you're adding quantifiables, numbers, something that is actually factual evidence. So 13% over the course of 6 months, that's way more tangible. That is hard evidence that this person can demonstrate the quality that they're speaking to right now, that the company says that they want the applicant to have. That's impressive. And then of course at the bottom, I'm looking forward to discussing this with you. I'm available at your convenience, all the good things to say, and then thank you so much for your time and consideration. A very nice sign off. Overall, this is a very effective letter. It is tailored to the job. It gets all the things that are necessary to get out, and then plus, most importantly, they're expressing excitement. They want this job, and that's evident from reading this. All the necessary information is here, plus the extras that make the application cover letter stand out from a lot of other ones. Now here we take a look at one that needs improvement. So first of all, notice no contact information at the top, not great. But dear Mr. Jones, they got that part right. They're specific about who they're speaking to. But then I'm applying for your open. So no excitement there. I'm just applying to this job. But it doesn't talk about the company that they're applying to at all. And then instead of talking about the company and the position and why they would align or match well with that company or that position, they start talking about a lot of personal life experience that has nothing to do with their industry experience or academic experience. It gets really personal and kind of subjective very quickly. So there's really no evidence. And if you look at the very bottom paragraph, right before I can be reached at, 555, right above that it says Scouts Honor. Like, I can learn quickly, Scouts Honor. Oh my goodness. You can imagine if you're reading this, you're looking for somebody who has qualifications. And really what this looks like is something that you would see, just kind of, I don't know, like posted on social media or something. It's very personal. It's not really written professionally. It's not addressing the job ad at all. So there's just a lot missing here. They said a lot, but they didn't say anything. So I'm hoping that you can see from this example that this isn't really the best cover letter, and it's not going to be very impressive for somebody who's wanting to hire someone who can be very effective in a professional position. And this is the last one we'll take a look at. Obviously, right off the bat, it will probably hit you that there's a lot missing here. Right off the bat, no contact information. They did do the specific Dear Mr. Jones, that's good. But then they don't address the company at all. They just say opening for sales manager. And then if we're looking at, reasons why they're applying for, I've always dreamed of working with your company. Well, all right, but why? Like, no clue why, just a statement that they throw out and then drop. And then they talk about the commuting distance being good and the salary is good. And then how this is the great next step for their career. But that's it. They don't talk about their qualifications at all, why they would want to work for their company. Like, no reasons at all why they have the qualifications to do this job and why they would be a good match for this company. So I'm hoping that looking at these examples really quickly was helpful for you all. Remember, you have your cover letter quiz to take a look at once you have obviously at this point been through this PowerPoint, but also take a look at these examples in the PDF that I have in the content folder. And just kind of think about this a little bit as you are, looking at your resume that you've already written at this point for this course, and you're thinking about applying for jobs or applying to graduate school. I hope this gives you some good food for thought about what people are looking for when they're looking to hire somebody or when they're looking to admit someone into a program. They're looking for specific things. They're looking for knowledge about the company or the institution or the field of study, if it's a graduate program. And they're looking for tangible evidence that you would be a really good match for them and a good pick, and that you've done your homework and you know about them. That way they can trust that you really do want the job that you're applying for or the position you're applying for, and that you really are a good match and that they should talk to you further. That's all for now. Have a great day.